Okay, I think I'm ready to go here. Let's grab, let's see, liquid damage, data recovery. Hey everyone, today I'm going to be working on an iPhone 6 that was sent here for liquid damage data recovery. I'm not entirely sure what I'm up against yet, but I'm getting ready to walk through it with you and see what we can figure out. So, let's go ahead and have a look at this phone. I'm going to pull it out of the basket here. I'm going to switch, son of a, wow. Okay, here is what this phone looks like. Just an ordinary iPhone 6, but I'm screaming because of the bend that we have here along the side that has all the goodies. It's not all that great, neither is my focus, but we're going to be able to live through it. Alright, so here we are under the microscope, and as you can see, somebody has really been beating their head against the wall to try to get the data off of this thing. You can see here that we've obviously got some long screw damage. Grab a pair of tweezers here I can use as a pointer. Now, we do know that we don't have any tripped liquid damage indicator up here. Boy, as you can see, somebody has really been pulling their hair out to try to get the data off of this thing. It appears that we're missing all of these image data chokes here. Our 1v8 filter here is in place. We do have filters over here for LCM reset, chestnut enable, those are in place. I can see that we do have a bent pin inside of the LCM connector here. We're going to go ahead and leave that just as it is because we are after data, and this thing does not have to survive a screen replacement. We've got some, we got all this stuff over here broken. We're gonna have. Are you fucking serious? Liquid damage. So far, I have not seen a hint of liquid here, so let me not say that too loud, or somebody's going to be trying to con me into doing a full-blown repair on this one. No full repair for you. This is going to be data recovery because this is already a nightmare. I can tell you right off the bat. Before I get started on this, let's go ahead and take the board out of it, because if the top side of the board looks like this, what in the hell does the bottom side of the board look like? So let's move right along here. I'm going to switch you over so that you can see what my hands look like, which are blue as usual. We're going to use our little screw pad here. I'll be honest, folks, this move has been very, very, very difficult. There's been a lot of you asking me, hey, what's up? How come there hasn't been a new video? I said I'll be very honest, and it's been really emotional. The first month, it was more about physical lifting and the physical stress of getting moved. The second month, I'm not sure how much of this I'll leave in here, so I can say whatever I want. The second month was more about getting things finished up, licensing, vehicle tags, kids' school registration, and I'm happy to say that today the kids are finally back in school, and that gives me a bit more freedom for recording, and it's been a great summer. I've spent a lot of time with my kids, but I'd really like to get back to business as usual and really get through what I'm beginning to call a recovery, man, because it's just, holy shit. We still got the battery hooked up. I hope the battery was unhooked during the mutilation of the rest of this board. So let's go ahead and disconnect the battery. I don't know how it is my wife knows that I hit the record button on a video, but as soon as I press record, my phone starts buzzing. I'm betting it's her. Okay. Unhook these goofy looking cables. Okay. Back to our Phillips. I'm going to try to leave as much of this video unedited as possible because with everything else that I got going on, I don't have a whole lot of time for editing right now. I should probably just live stream this, but what if I look like a fool? Well, that would be okay, I guess. Might look like a damn fool anyway. Oh, Lord. Well, watch this board be completely mutilated, and this have only been a VCC main short. Alright, so let's throw all this stuff out of the way that I do not need. We're going to need to approach this on a little bit of a step-by-step thing. With all of the image data chokes missing and shit torn off around the display connector, and with the bottom left hole long screw damage, I know that there's no way in hell that this board will ever, it's not going to get an image on the screen. So I don't want to waste a bunch of time trying to fix image if I can't get this thing to the point where I think it's going to boot. So we're going to kind of go that route first. I'm going to check and make sure I don't have any god-awful main visible shorts here on the top. And as long as I don't have any god-awful things going on here and I think the board's going to boot, then we're going to start working on trying to get image. And God help me, do we have a passcode? I have a passcode. All right, so let's have a look at the bottom of this board under the microscope. I am a little bit horrified that we have so much damage here on the top, yet it looks like the sticker has never been removed from the bottom. I think whoever was working on this did not... No, they did take the board out because it's been wiped all over. Maybe they didn't know that was a sticker. Whenever I first started working on the iPhone 6, I think a lot of people did. They took my hot air to the bottom sticker here and thought I was going to use hot air to remove the sticker because I thought it was just a solid metal plate, but it wound up being a sticker, and I'm going, what the? So let's go ahead. We're going to remove the sticker here and see what this thing looks like under it. Guys, I'm still not convinced that this is liquid damage. I am convinced this is data recovery, but I'm not convinced that it is liquid. Okay, wait. Hang on, we got some liquid here. And guys, I think I've said it 1,000 times. These little frays off the sticker are conductive, so it's a good idea for you to be a lot more careful than I was just now. Get all this crap out of the way. There is liquid damage, but I do not believe that this liquid damage... Oh, wait, we got some liquid over here around the PMIC. Okay. We've got liquid over here. Do I have enough brightness on the microscope? I can actually turn that up way brighter than my eyes can take. So, am I recording? Yeah, I'm recording. All right. Let's look for any other gotchas. We're going to say that liquid most likely did kill this phone. I'm not sure that liquid made it under this bottom shield. It doesn't really look like that it did. The bottom shield is easy enough to take off. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to remove the bottom shield. I've gotten to the point on a lot of these where if it doesn't look like liquid made it into an area, I don't waste the time of dismantling it because many times it does not impact my success rate whatsoever. So I'm going to take the hot air now. Wonder if I can... I got some adjustments to make for this channel, guys, but the biggest adjustment that I need to make is with myself. It's really difficult to just pick up and move and just start a whole new lifestyle. There's a lot more to it than what I thought, but I'm loving it. I mean, I do not regret it. And right now, if you tried to make me move back north, you would have to pry Florida out of my dead bleeding fingers before you would get me to move back to colder climate right now. And that's even with the nasty stuff that we got going on in the Gulf. The red tide has been really disgusting. We haven't been letting it spoil our move. We've just been driving about 30-45 minutes to the north. The other day we drove a few hours over to Daytona Beach and we had us a beach day. It's really awesome. Alright, so let's have a look at the bottom side of this board down here where I don't think liquid made it. Ugh. Looks like we got some liquid here on the baseband power. Man, I really wish this wasn't a long screw damaged and pre-mutilated phone. Okay. I'm not going to power this up right away because of the ugly that we have here around baseband power management. And, oh Lord, look. I'm going to say it looks like it's got a blown backlight filter. Let's check the backlight filter. Watch all this mutilation happened over a blown backlight filter. I think I'll puke all over the place. Alright, I'm going to turn my multimeter on. I do not have the on-screen multimeter hooked up right now, forgive me, but I will caption it on the screen. Right now, I'm going to check resistance mode measurement across FL 2024, and we get... Come on, mofo. 1.6 ohms. So that filter is actually good. I'm going to be trying to leave as much of this carnage alone as I can. I tell you what, since I'm already here, let's go ahead. I'm going to do some diode mode readings up the important side of this connector. Gosh, I normally use a screw hole for my ground, but they're all missing, so I'm going to go up here and use this screw hole. Let's see, I think we've got LCM reset and chestnut enable here somewhere. I'm getting a 0.38 on this pin. I'm getting a 2.85 on this pin. Really what I'm doing here, guys, I'm trying to give this thing a good checking over. I'm going to go ahead and open up EasyDraw. And I am pleased to say my big 42-inch monitor is now running in 4K as it should be. And also, I'd like to admit something. I have had a lot of people say, why in the hell would you buy a 42-inch monitor and run it at 1080p? Well, my 42-inch monitor would only work at 30 frames a second. And I didn't know if it was the monitor, if it was the video card. It was me. I'm a dumbass. I mounted it to the wall and then plugged the HDMI cable into the back of it. Did not realize that there were multiple ports on the back, all of which that are labeled 60 frames per second, except for the one that I used. It was labeled 30 frames a second. So the entire time that I had this big monitor set up on my other workbench, the entire time I was in that new workspace, I was using this at 1080p because I'm a dumbass and I plugged it into the 30 frames a second port. So anyways, I love my 4K desktop. It's totally awesome. Here is what my 4K desktop looks like if I just want to show you the whole thing. Love it. I got all this room on my screen. It's brilliant. So here's EasyDraw. And I tell you what, to keep you from having to double watch things, we are going to switch over and only show you EasyDraw. Crying out loud. I ran this thing at 1080p for all those months and months and months and months and months. And then I get down here in Florida and it's great though. I love it. I have a lot to be desired here fixing my lighting though, guys, but honestly I need to get back on YouTube. I miss it. I've been beating my head against the wall every day, working here at this bench every day, and every day that goes by is another day that's like, I'm not doing anything on YouTube, and it's part of my life now. I really love it. So let's open up the iPhone 6. A sexy iPhone 6 with topside mutilation all over the place. Let's drill down here. We're going to get it on the connector. And what I want to see who is, which ones are chestnut enable, which one's LCM reset. Let's see. So this one's chestnut enable. The next one up is LCM reset. And what I do is I count. So we go up from the right hand side. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Did I miss? Shit. You guys quit counting in my back of you're counting out loud and you're screwing me up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, the 9th pin up on the right row. That's LCM reset. So if we switch back over here to the microscope, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to count up on the right hand column here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My LCM reset has given me a 2.85 in diode mode, and we should be more like 0.3 or 0.4 depending on how good your meter is. So we know that LCM reset is broken. Let's check the next one below it. That'll be number 8. That's chestnut enable. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one is chestnut enable. I'm getting a 0.39. So chestnut enable is acceptable. We know that chestnut enable is connected, but LCM reset is not connected. But that's all image, you know, that's image. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to see if this phone, if there's any way that it's actually going to power up. Is the NAND corrupted? There's all of these dozens of different things that could prevent me from getting the data off of this phone. So before I power this up, I'm going to turn on my ultrasonic cleaner. Okay. And one way I have really elevated my success rate on these, guys, what I'm getting ready to do requires a lot of finesse. And if you don't have a feel of where the solder is going to melt, where your flux begins to bubble and activate, I'm not sure if you should do this step. But I've been doing this. This elevates my success rate a lot. I've had excellent success. Okay, although it's probably not necessary, I'm going to go ahead and start here on the touch side of the board. I've got my hot air heated up to full-blown temp, which for me is about 380. I've been working a little lower here and there, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to start warming this board up right here around the touch IC areas, just because I see a lot of dried solids that was in the liquid. I'm going to add flux to the board, and I'm going to start flushing this area out. Right under the audio codec here. Okay. I don't want to melt the solder. I just want the flux to activate. And just as it activates, I'm going to flood it. Okay. Flood it some more. Just keep flooding it. I'm not melting any solder, guys. I'm flushing the turds out from under these ICs, okay? I'm going to do the same. God help me. Audio IC, please don't do this. Don't try this at home, okay? I'm a trained professional. Anybody else watch the guy that vaped the Carolina Reaper? I'm sitting there going, oh, come on, man. A real man would crunch up some and snort it. Like, let's see it. And then he snorted it. Like, are you fucking serious? He's snorting Carolina Reaper. What a... God, millions of hits. I can sit here and solder until I'm blue in the face, and I will never get millions of hits. Tell you what, I will also never vape a Carolina Reaper. Okay, we're just about to have this flux activating. My mat might be swelling a little bit, so it's going to be tricky here to keep this in focus. We don't want to melt any solder here, guys. I'm simply trying to get the flux to bubble just the faintest, tiniest of little bits. Okay. No solder melting. Okay, leave that alone. Oh, such a big bubble under my mat. Should stick this in a holder. Okay, well, for now... Now I'm going to do the baseband power management area. I'm going to do the same thing. Now this one I could get away with floating in. I'm not near as worried about this. But up around the main power IC, I'm really worried about floating anything on the other side of the board. And I'm worried about damaging stuff that's going to prevent me from getting data. Now ideally, while this board is still hot, I would let it cool down just a fuzz, and then I would put it in the ultrasonic cleaner. But me, in all of my wisdom, forgot to turn the heater on my ultrasonic cleaner, so now I have to wait for it to heat up. As soon as it finishes heating up, I'm going to continue this video. All right, my cleaner is just about warmed up. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to remove the CPU shield from this. The SOC shield, the system on a chip shield. Maybe we can get a look at my PP sock. Okay. I'm going to use the Chris Long, Paul Daniels patented shield drop method here. I think Chris Long's the first one that I've seen doing it, and then Paul Daniels is the one that got me to try it. Alright, should drop away any minute. There we go. So easy to remove the shields that way. In a lot of my earlier videos, you see me doing a lot of taping them down all over the place to the bench, and I hardly ever do that anymore. Tell you what, let's go ahead and show you what this looks like under the microscope. I should just go ahead and move on, but for the sake of this, holy shit, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to move on yet. We have got a hunk of a 1005 component here under the CPU shield somehow. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. Hey, maybe it's still good. We still got caps on it, right? On both ends. Just a little bit shattered. Let's let that turn into dust in the floor. Okay. And we decided that there's no way to get image because it is missing all 4 image data chokes. We decided the backlight filter was good, so once we're ready, it should get backlight. And we've decided that we are missing LCM reset, and that's going to be due to long screw damage. This screw hole looks fine. This screw hole also looks fine, except for where's our 1v8 trace. What I'm going to do for that, I'm going to check diode mode measurement out of the connector here and see if we've got 1v8 con or 1v8 LCM con, which would be All right, that component is still stuck on my tweezers. We should get a decent diode mode reading here at this pin if the middle hole long screw damage is a non-event. So to do that, I'm going to check in diode mode. I'm going to put my red probe on ground. If I can find a screw hole that's still left on the board to use as ground. And I'm just going to check here at this pin. And I get open line. Alright, so now I'm going to check and see if it's the filter. No, the filter is good. That means our 1.8 volt trace is completely, totally torn away. Oh, yeah, I can see it now. So here at this screw hole, we are totally missing 1.8, 1V8. PP1V8 is right here. This connection is also required for image. And it's been torn away right across here. And it likely, I don't think I've ever had one that was torn all the way away like this. But it's most likely going to be this one that goes down and connects inside of the board here. We can probably solder right here. Okay, so to verify if that's the right trace or not that I just scratched away, I'm going to put my multimeter in ohms mode. I'm going to set it to beep. Or is it diode mode that beeps? Who really cares, right? Okay. Okay, so we are set up now to where it'll beep. If I touch them together, what in the world? You guys can't see me. There we go. So if I touch them together, we get a beep. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put either probe here on the first pin of this connector, right there. And then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to check this trace that I just scraped away and see if we get a beep. Yay, okay. So basically our connection between here and here is broken. What the... Oh, I was touching the ground area here. Okay, so we've got to get a wire either from here or here, here to here, or I can run a wire from here down to here, or I can grab 1.8 volts from anywhere and hook it to this pin on the connector. But I'm not doing any of that until I think that this is going to boot, because if the board don't boot, me sitting here replacing all these display chokes or troubleshooting anything pertaining to image is a complete utter waste of time if the board is not going to start up and run. If the board looks like it's going to be a NAND failure to where the NAND's going to need reformatted, or file system corruption to where it's going to need reformatted, if something else is... I'm not going to do all that extra work if I can't get the board to boot. Okay, my ultrasonic cleaner is now at 41 out of 50, so we're going to let that heat up for just a little bit longer. Guess who hasn't changed the water in the ultrasonic cleaner since we moved to Florida? Here I am back at the board with this thing. You might see that I'm a little bit sweaty. Just as I was ultrasonic cleaning this board, it's still got my Branson EC all over it. Had a knock on the door. Guy trying to sell me a whole box full of steaks. I'm not that easy, guys. I'm not. We just stocked up on meat yesterday. I am good to go. Please don't sell me any steaks today. Okay, so I'm going to blow all the Branson EC off of this. Making sure to get it in my eyes and everything else. That can's losing pressure. To the next one. I normally do this where it's not going to splatter on everything, but I'm trying to make a video, so come on. That can's losing pressure. I got a big ass air conditioner, I got a big ass air compressor that I should probably use instead. I'm the worst at telling salespeople no. It's like, I'll let them sit there and put me on for 20 minutes before I'm just like, dude, no. And that's what just happened. So I'm a little bit scattered out. So now that I've got the majority of the cleaner sprayed off of this board, I'm going to drop this into an alcohol bath. Okay? And I'm going to swirl this around in the bath here for a minute. And as you can see, my alcohol bath is a little bit cleaner than what is in my ultrasonic cleaner. Okay? And what I'm trying to do now is get rid of all the distilled water. Alcohol boils at a much lower point than distilled water, of course, so that will be easier to get rid of off of this board. Let's just let it sit there and absorb this for just a minute. Oh man, tempting. This dude, he had some steaks now, some really, really nice looking steaks. And I'm a meat eater. I like steaks, but I don't plan on buying a $300 box of steaks today. Really? There's myself, my wife, and 2 boys that eat the meat. The little one, yeah, he kind of nibbles on it a little bit, but oh, Lord have mercy. All right, so here we are. Here's this board. I'm going to go ahead and pull it back out of the alcohol here. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to try to get rid of as much of the liquid as I can. Being very careful not to drop the board. Okay. This is awful. Like, how many times am I going to switch cans? I got another pack up there I should open, but what I should really do is hook up the air compressor that's sitting right on the other side of this wall. One day I'll get around to it. Let's see, which can is not cold? That's probably okay. Okay, now the final step that I'm going to do here, this part of my cleaning process, is I'm going to start heating this thing up, and I'm going to be sure to heat it up above 212 degrees Fahrenheit. And by doing that, is my sound working? By doing that, I know that we're going to boil away any water that's here. Now, if I want to be really, really, really certain, I will set them on heat and just leave them, not here, but on a hot plate, or here in Florida, the sun's really hot. So I've actually sun-dried me some boards. That's kind of funny. That would probably make a good video. Sun-dried boards in Florida. Meet the board repair tech who puts the boards in the sun. Data recovery, blah, 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 blah. All right, so we're going to heat this up good and hot, and I'm going to make sure we boil as much of the water away as I can. I don't know why I get so dang nervous telling people no. I mean, this guy starts at 368, and he comes down to 200, and by the time he's heading out the door without selling me anything, he's prepared to take 150 for a humongous box of steaks. Like, whatever. I mean, yeah, they look great and all, but we just went to the butcher yesterday, and I have some killer-looking meat in the fridge, and we are going to eat that up tonight. It's going to be good. So, okay. So all I'm doing here is drying the board off. I don't know how much of this I'm going to edit out, guys, because it's difficult right now for me to find time to edit, although I do plan on doing a lot of editing. But maybe not this video. It's just an iPhone 6 video. I don't look for it to get that many hits, and it's an iPhone 6. It's old. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn my heat off and let this thing run a cool down cycle here. I'm using my fingers as a judgment to tell when this board's at 212 degrees. We're probably pretty close. Now, because I didn't take this one shield off, we're going to want to make sure that this area gets damn hot. We're going to want to make sure that we don't pop any balls out around the CPU, but if there's any moisture, liquid that's ran under the CPU, I would like to make sure it's dry. So I'm going to continue to dry this board. I'm just about to a point here where with a standard liquid damage good God, man. The board's bent. I'll show you that in a minute. I'm just about to the point here where I'm comfortable to hook power to it. I never pull out a liquid damage data recovery and hook power straight to it. It's always a lengthy visual inspection and a lot of preemptive work. I want to try to make sure that I don't accidentally get 20 volts out of a backlight driver. Not that the backlight's going to light up on this board yet, but I want to make sure that we don't get some boost IC that squirts out 16 volts or whatever into an I2C line and jeopardizes my chance of getting data. So some people wonder why data recovery is so expensive when you don't have to worry about fixing the entire phone. This is why, because many times I will spend an hour and a half on something and get to the point where I can push forward and run into a dead end. Like, let's see what happens on this board. I don't know what's happened here. I know that I'm not the first one that's tried. All right, how are we feeling? We're feeling hot. Let's heat the hot air back up. I'm going to run this thing up to temp once more. One day when I get a little more settled in here, I'm going to spend some time arranging cameras. And, before we decided for sure that we were making this move, I was a lot more on the ball as far as how my cameras were arranged, my lighting, and things for YouTube, the business, things were a lot more organized. I'm still adjusting down here, guys. This has been a heck of an adjustment. I can't thank you all enough that have stayed with me through this and that have sent me comments hoping that I'm doing well and just, you know, reminding me that I got people out there that care. It's just, it's really awesome. I miss my family, and beyond the first 2 months, it's sort of emotional. I'm not going to go into all that right now because I don't want to get a bunch of thumbs down. I'm going to try to get the data off of this phone in front of everybody. Let's see if we can do it. You know, it's not that I haven't been recording videos. I mean, it's not that I've been recording videos and not posting them. There's some stuff that I've recorded from back in Missouri that I haven't posted, but as far as here in Florida, I have not had the ambition to produce videos, and I love it. And every day that I'm not, you know, putting things on YouTube is another day I feel like I'm neglecting a child or something. Look at me sweating. You can tell I'm getting nervous about something. The emotional transition here of picking up and moving out of my home habitat into a new area is just, I don't think there's any way to describe that. I mean, okay, this thing is good and dry. I'm going to let it cool down. There's no way for me to describe that. I did all my homework and research, and I, you know, pretty well got all the technical things in line, and we've taken care of schooling and insurance and all the legal stuff, and everything there is good. But there's no way to explain the sort of thing that you feel whenever you move from a place that you've always known to a new place. And I suppose people that are in the military that get uprooted all the time and moved around, they're probably already accustomed to that sort of thing. But I am somebody who has lived in the same exact house for over 20 years, and here I am in a new place, and I love it. I can get up and go dive in a pool out back. We've got a big backyard, and guys, if you're interested in seeing more of my personal life and my personal surroundings, let me know, because I feel like if I post that sort of thing, I will do nothing but make a bunch of people mad, and I don't feel like this is the right place to post that sort of thing. So I don't post much of that on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram. I've been posting some of it on Instagram, STS Telecom. I don't think there's any imposters yet. So, all right, guys, let's see what's up with this board. Let's look at it under the microscope, see what sort of a job I've done with my cheap ultrasonic cleaner. First, I'm going to look at the baseband power area. Okay. You can see that my cheap ultrasonic cleaner did an excellent job on this board. I mean, it's superb. I paid $60 for this cleaner 2 years ago, and look what it's doing to these boards. So for everybody that's like, why don't you get it crashed? If this thing dies, I will. But move my tools out of the way. As it is right now, I mean, just look at what this has done to the board. This thing had crap all over it, okay? So there's that area. Let's look at the power management area. As you can see, it has cleaned every last speck off of this board. It is excellent. For 60 bucks, how can you go wrong? I mean, seriously. Okay. So we had this area here around the touch ICs, and we had the audio codec here. Totally clean. Now, I will say my flux and flush, the way that I do, that helps a lot. All right, let's look at the top side of the board here. We're okay, except for all this crap missing that we're going to need to get image. Let's see, we had some corrosion. No, that's not corrosion. We've got a 3V0 TriStar line up here that looks like it might have been physically broken. This, what is it, a cap or whatever? No, we do have corrosion over here on this cap. So not too much to worry about there. Let's have a look at the back side of the board over here that did not get cleaned, because that's where my fingers were. Okay, that's not too bad. Guys, I think I'm ready to hook a power supply to this board and see if it begins to boot. Okay, now we're not going to hook up a screen yet because it doesn't have anything on the board that we need for image. So we are just going to hook a supply to this thing. Let's see, 6S. I need to color code this set of leads here. I like the idea of being able to just bump the 5-volt USB line with a button to get a power up. All right, so what we're going to do here, we're going to watch current draw. I'm going to carefully plug this in, and we're going to watch and see what happens with current. Okay. This drew, it's drawing 0 amps, and that is before an attempted power up. Now what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to hit the prompt to boot button here, which is just, you know, that is on this, what is it, a Sharpest L001 that I got from Union Repair. I'm going to hit the prompt to boot button on this. You know what? You don't need to look at the board no more. Let's see. Can I turn it on so you can see the supply on this screen? Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to press the prompt to boot button on this, and we're going to get 80 milliamps, 90 milliamps, 160, 150. This is a normal boot signature, okay? Well, I wouldn't say normal boot, but as you can see, it's drawing current. It's drawing 200 milliamps, 180, an amp. This board is booting. So now I'm going to move on, and we're going to get image on the screen because we've got everything else, right? I was hoping to not have to do this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mount this thing in this big old board holder here because I don't want it sliding around while I do all this. I need to make sure we leave open. Tell you what, let's get this wire off the bottom. Okay. I need to make sure that we leave open the area of the bottom left screw hole, unless I just jumper me a wire over for LCM reset. I might just do that. That'll be easier, right? Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to start shining this up. What the fuck? No, you'll break the CPU. This is data recovery. Ah! All right, go. Switch you back onto the microscope, huh? Now, I don't know. You might be able to jumper these image chokes just with wires, but I'm really not sure of that. So we're going to go ahead and put chokes back into place. I do not have those in stock. I'm going to be stealing those off of another board. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to use my hot air to warm this board up. God help me, I hope we can get touch. Okay. So right now we need chestnut enable, LCM reset. We need these image chokes in place. Our other image lines should be good with a big fat capital S on should. Okay. I'm going to need more flux on that. Ugh. And I wonder if I can zoom out so you can see the whole area. Oops, and still be able to do my job. Think so? Yeah, we'll just move it around. Okay. So let's make sure we get Lewis-Rossmann amounts of flux on the board. We need to get all these little metal pieces out of here. Maybe I should do this with wire solder. See, this is where preheating would be handy, because then I would have a hand free to use wire solder. I'm so used to not doing that much soldering that I dip my iron in solder and put flux on the board. Okay, so those four are looking good. Okay. Nothing fancy here. We're just getting something I can stick these image chokes to. And then I'm going to harvest some. And I don't know, you might be able to just put wires across them. I've never tried that. Okay. Oh, lunchtime. Starting to get shaky. That's probably good. That'll straighten out whenever I stick a choke on there. So that's all four of those tinned up. We needed to make sure we get our 1V8 reconnected. And for that, I'm just going to go ahead, let's see, I'm just going to run a big old long wire. So first, let's get these image chokes back in place. I'm going to sit my customer's board aside here. I'm going to grab a big fat box of donor boards. And I'm going to grab an iPhone, something or other here that still has some image chokes that are hopefully not overfilled. Okay. I see 3 of them there. Okay, we'll use those 3. Let me grab one more board. What we want to do here is pick out the most liquid damaged as possible board here so that we make sure the chokes match the board that I'm fixing. Kidding. Okay. All right, so let's start pulling chokes. Choke! All right. Flux here is not important. I'm just doing it to hopefully make them come off a little cleaner and make it easier for me to put them back on this other board. So, okay, we're going to grab... Come on, mofo. 1. 2. Oh, it went pew! Alright, so we're back down to 1. My tweezer stabbed into the mat and then catapulted it. Okay, there's 2. I was kind of hoping to not dig very hard for the other ones. Let's see if I've got a board here that's a little easier to access those. Yeah. Oh, hey, this looks like a good one. Okay. How many do we got? 2? We need 2 more. Preferably not cracked. Okay. Data. Okay, so let's grab these next 2 hooks. I know one of them flung off here somewhere, but I didn't feel like screwing around and trying to get the rubbery stuff off of it, so I let it fling. Okay. Alright, so there's all of our chokes. We're going to switch back over here to the customer's PCB. That touch connector is starting to make me really nervous. I'm going to put quite a bit of flux all over it to prevent my hot air from burning it. Okay. And we're going to start sticking these chokes back in place. Alright, so let's grab our first choke here. Hopefully I don't drop any. One. Two. 3. Yay, he can count. 4. Oh, you... Is that a choke? I just picked up a piece of dirt off the bench. I'm like, is that a choke? Hey, that's that one I lost earlier. All right, let's use that. Okay. And since it didn't get unsoldered, it was sort of ripped off the board. It's sort of oxidized. And I don't want any variables here to keep me from getting an image. I mean, I want as few variables as possible, so... Yeah, that looks good. Let's add a little more to the board. A little flexy there. Okay. Yes, I love my job. However, this move has been very, very difficult. You know, I had all these visions of getting down here and this new environment helping me be so much more enthusiastic about video, and it's sort of done the opposite. It's been really hard. Well, I still have all the enthusiasm. I still have all these great ideas and ideas for intros and things that I am going to wind up doing, but having the ideas and the enthusiasm is, you know, it's one thing to do, to have all of it, but it's another thing to actually put it into action. And once we get through this transition, things will be a lot easier. There we go. All right, so that's 4 beautifully soldered image chokes. Now we are going to need to have a connection, okay? In order to get image on this phone, we're done with hot air for a while, thank God. We are going to need to have 1.8 volts back down here at the connector. And to do that, am I going to get down in here to this third layer and solder to that, or am I just going to run a wire over to this filter? Which one are we going to do here, folks? Okay, so let's have a look here at ZXW tool. And if we look up here at the long screw damage for here, here is this 1.8 volt trace that I'm talking about, which for whatever reason it's not letting me select it, but just take my word for it, that's 1.8 volts. And we're trying to get that down here to, oh God, I'm glad I checked. Wait, am I on the right board? Yikes. Yeah, I was actually checking for, continuity on the 5V7 line, and I'm glad I didn't just solder that all together because it would have been wrong. So, okay, I'm going to go back in here. We're going to check this again. And as you can see here on screen capture, we actually should have been going after this one here. No, wait, I checked it. Okay, I checked it at the pin on the connector. So it wasn't that horrible for me to screw up on the 5V7 filter, okay? We're going to make sure the filter's good. It is. So what we're going to do here, we need to grab 1.8 volts from somewhere to patch this up. And to do that, we can get it from just about anywhere here. And I'm going to grab 1.8 volts from L2318. That's what we're going to do. Mind you, we're really just trying to get image on the screen. Okay. I'm using this mechanic wire dispenser that I got in a package from Union Repair. Thanks, guys. I have been using this. I don't use it as I don't hold it like a pencil, but I do use it as a wire dispenser. It's been handy for that. Okay, so back under the microscope with us. Okay. We're going to solder one end of it right there. Good. You're never getting a rear camera hooked back up to you again, so All right, ready for tweezers? Repair videos are inherently long, guys. The process of going through all this and to still be up against a maybe, you know, I'm pretty confident at this point that I'm going to get the data off of this phone. But in the beginning I wasn't, you know, all the way up until after ultrasonic cleaning, all the way up until I seen the power supply start out at 80 or 100 milliamps and then begin to start stepping its way up. All the way up to that point, I wasn't that confident, you know, because I don't know what people have tried. I don't know why all these components are pried off the board. Okay, so we're going to grab 1.8 volts here, assuming that it's still there. Hope it's still there. And actually we needed the top side of that filter, so we're going to go right up here, there. This is why I'm not used to using wire solder. I'm always holding tweezers in one hand, always. Just trying to burn the coating off of here, okay? And then we don't want that to solder straight to ground like I just did. The pad right next to this here on this side, that's ground, so we definitely don't want that. Now if I was sending this out as a repair, I'd be sure to have this flush on the board and stuff, but guys, this is a temporary wire. It's not intended to stay here. It's not intended to go back as a working phone. This is just for me to get an image so that I can transfer data. Alright? So this should be 1.8 volts back to the connector. Now we have to worry about LCM reset. Okay? Without LCM reset, the iPhone 6 will not get an image. Now, am I going to hook up a proper LCM reset, or are we going to try to get 1.8 volts? Don't break, mofo. Or are we going to try to get 1.8 volts to the pin on the board? Let's evaluate this to see if I can just fix it right here at the screw hole. Okay, before I do that, I'm going to check the messages on my phone. I'm just going to leave that out of this video. Alright. Let's start carving into this thing. Yeah? Yeah? Anybody ready to do some carving on the old bottom left hole? I know you like some pounded holes. Alright. Alright, I'm going to watch what I say. I'm trying to clean up a little bit. Alright, so here is what we're up against, guys. This wadded up looking finagled mess over here. This wadded up trace. This, oh, yeah, it's broke. There's the LCM reset trace. This is it right here. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lightly push on this via. See if it moves. It's solid, okay? So we've most likely got a good connection there. I'm going to go ahead and strip off the top of that via. And I'm going to grab a diode mode measurement off of that. I'm going to take, and I'm going to put my red probe on ground. If I can find a ground. And the other mode on LCM reset. And I get 0.36. That is a good reading. Yay! What that means to me is that the LCM reset third layer trace is not broken. So I don't have to go down to the third layer trace to grab that. And it means I can just easily solder right to that via to get LCM reset over to the connector. Now if I really had my shit together and I wanted to make a good video on iPhone 6 image issues, I would bring up the connector and start describing the pins, but I'm not going to do that right now because I just need to get this data and move on, and I'd like to post it on YouTube. Okay, let's hook up LCM reset. For that, I'm going to... should I use this big fat wire? We can use this big fat wire, right? Let's use this big fat wire, okay? To get up, it broke. To get LCM reset back to the connector, I'm going to start by soldering to the connector, right? Or do we want... no, let's do the connector first, okay? I should have marked which one LCM reset was. And as many of these as I've done, I should just remember it by now. So I don't. I'm going to go back over here and look at ZXW. Okay. It was this one, right? Okay, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pins up, and we can grab any of these here. So let's see, we got these two across one, and then 1, 2, 3, the fourth set after the cross. Okay, moving up the connector. One, two, three, four. Okay, these are LCM reset right here. One, two, three, four. I always want to be damn sure when routing jumpers because this is data, and I would really hate to mess something up and not be able to get these people's data. And ZXW says that we can go to the top side of either one of these because they are connected. Let's see, we're going to tin up the tip of this wire. Data! Data getter! I wish I could recover them all. If you're somebody who I have not recovered your data and you're sitting there listening to me brag about my success rate, I'm really sorry. I would imagine that would piss some people off. Alright, stick down in there just so I can switch hands. Come on, mofo. Alright, I got her stuck down. Now I'm going to switch and use tweezers. Okay. Fumble around here and botch this right at the very end. Drive my iron through that connector, and then I got to replace the whole damn connector to find out if we got image. Come on now, don't. Nice and firm. We like firm things, don't we? Alright, there we go. I'm going to clip this wire off of here before I accidentally catch my hand on it and tear it off of there. Alright. Now we have a wire hooked to LCM reset at the connector. Should have probably went to the other side of those, to that one filter, but going to this side, I'm able to just solder to the cap too, and it's a little stronger. All right, so we're going to route this right around the bottom side of our forehead connector. And my goal is to solder it right there to the little nub coming up from the third layer, which is LCM reset going back to the CPU. Now, if this was a repair and that was broken, I wind up digging down into the third layer and hooking up to the trace down there, but this is not a repair and it's not broken. Data getter. Hope I get my lighting fixed soon here, guys. And I hope nobody gets the wrong impression. I'm just immensely enthusiastic over YouTube, but when it comes to keeping the bills paid and spending time with my kids and getting through a move this size, it's been really challenging, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's been a major challenge. All right, so we've got a little bit of Frankensteinage going on here. We've got a wire coming around to get 1.8 volts to the connector, which is what our display needs to be able to send the Chestnut enable signal back to Chestnut, which is the chip that's going to supply power to light up the image portion of the display. And it's also a signal that we need so that the backlight driver knows to turn on the backlight, not that we need it for data. But now we have all those things there. So I'm going to use hot air and I'm going to warm this board up because now I got to get all this flux out of these connectors. Okay, but I don't want the hot air to heat my wires up to a point where they detach. So we're going to be sure and stay back pretty far. We're just going to kind of warm up the whole board. Anything else here that we're going to need for image? What's that broken thing up there? We better look at that too. Let's clean the connectors first. I see we've got the some stuff broken for proximity. I'm betting we're missing front camera stuff, Mike. There's other stuff wrong here, but this is not a repair, nor would I agree to repair this. If an iPhone 6 comes in looking like this is a... Shit. Almost popped my wire off. It's a no. An iPhone 6 that looks like this is not a repair. This is a data mission. Because if they're messed up this bad, it's more cost effective just to replace it. I mean, just replace the phone. If they're screwed up like this, no way. Now, I'm not going to be trying to clean these out spotless because I just want to make sure the flux is not going to be an insulator that trolls me. With all this stuff wrong, it would be easy for me to assume anything. I mean, it could be anything. If we don't get image on this, this could be anything. Okay, I think that's probably good enough for me to hook up a screen. Okay, I'm going to check up here. I'm going to try to be sure I didn't pull this loose. Good enough, I didn't. Okay, anybody want to place any bets? See if we get image? We don't need hot air no more. Crying out loud, it's Florida, it's hot enough. Alright, so let's move the board out of here. We know it powered up. I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to grab a test display. iPhone X. We definitely don't use that today. This is what's my test screens and stuff. You probably won't be able to see it very well from that camera there, but are all just literally piled up over here. And there's certain ones that I come to trust. They're usually these broken ones like this. This one's probably been a star in more than one of my videos. So we are going to now anybody want to brush their teeth? We are going to plug in a little bit of screenage here. After this video, I'm going to eat lunch. I'm hungry. Okay, there we go. A nice pop. I should have checked diode mode readings everywhere, but what are you going to do? Sue me? Okay. We're going to turn the supply off. I'm going to go ahead and hook up power. Grab a dock flex for the iPhone 6. Is that the iPhone 6, right? Yeah. Okay. Oh, why do I always hook those up in the wrong order? Let's hook our dock flex up here. Power. And moment of truth. I'm going to go ahead with all of this going on before I do anything else. Let's see, which button is it? No, it's not that one. Let's just give you a whole monitor, okay? Now I'm going to open up iTunes, and man, I love having this 4K display because I can fit everything all on one. I can fit everything all on one screen. Okay, so there we've got iTunes. If I put it over here over Open Broadcaster, then it won't be that bad, right? Okay, so we got iTunes on the screen. Now here we go. My next step here, I'm going to prompt this to boot using a USB cable, a lightning cable here, that goes all the way back to the PC that's got iTunes on it. Alright, mental check. I didn't see anything goofy. We didn't check on that one component. Okay, back up. There was another broken component, okay? So back over to ZXW tool. What'd I do? Close it? Seriously? Somebody mind explaining why ZXW needs administrator rights? No, wait, I was using Easy Draw. That's why. Okay. Close ZXW. Oh, I know I closed it. Okay. I'm losing it. I'm right here at the end of this recovery and I'm falling apart. Dun, 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 dun. There was one broken component that I'm not instantly familiar with, and I would like to go research it. So I'm going to make this a little easier to look at. We're going to do easy draw only, and we're going to drill down here and we're going to look at which one of you was broken. FL 2025, right? That was a cathode line. So with that broken, we should wind up with a partial missing backlight. I think I can live with that. As long as the other cathode's okay. Where is it at? Is it over here? It's going to be this one right here. Okay, this will be our other cathode. Okay, I think I can live with that. So back over to this recovery. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to flip the screen over so that everybody can see it. You can see the power supply draw. Let's make sure desktop audio is on so we can hear USB connect. Okay, we have desktop audio. Now I'm going to connect this to my desktop. First, let's turn the power supply on. So we're at 4.2 volts. We're not drawing any power. And as you can see, Apple logo. All right, let's let this thing boot up to keep from revealing anything crazy about my customers. I think you can still see the Apple logo here. USB connect, that's brilliant. All right, I have no idea how long this phone will run. I have had these things come up and just get started with the backup and bomb out and die. All right, we have touch, okay? I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm now going to enter the passcode. What? I put in my job ID as the passcode, okay? All right, this phone accepted the passcode. 3U tools, I'm not using you today. Please get off of my tray. Hey, I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. All right, exit directly. We're going to say yes, iTunes. We would like for you to access the information on this phone. I'm going to give you the full-blown monitor capture so you can see this thing connecting. I've just told the phone to trust. And just so you can see that this phone is still running, I've dropped down the bar from the top. It's been told to trust. And right now, we are waiting on iTunes, okay? No, for God's sake, we don't want to update. All right. Okay, the encryption passcode has not been set, which pleases me for somebody who did not, who has not specifically requested it. It's usually not an issue, but sometimes it is. I'm waiting on this thing to come to life, and then as soon as it does, I'm going to hit the backup button. And we're just, we're waiting. Waiting. Come on. Wait, can you read that? Ah! I'm not supposed to be able to see my customer's tag, okay? Or their sticky note. This is our tags right here. And I still haven't updated the address on the header because nobody gets to see that. This is my tag. It's for me. It's for me to read. Why won't you let me click backup yet? This is taking a long time. I'm starting to get nervous. Your iPhone has never been backed up. You think? We're just going to continue to wait. Come on, baby. Come on, ice cream. Come on, ice cream. Am I going to unplug it and plug it back in? What would you guys suggest? Should I unplug it and plug it back in? I should have been able to click backup by now, but... rebooted. Okay, battery data lines. All right, let's pull this thing off of here. The next thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to put this... was it just the old random reboot? Should I give it the benefit of the doubt and try again? Or should I get this in a housing that has a good battery? What would you do? What would you do if you were me? Where is my iPhone 6 battery that I use for this situation when this happens? It's not there. It's not there. Did I give it away? What's this? Ooh. iPhone 7. That's not going to do it. Okay. I'm going to use this test housing. It has a charged battery. Original Apple dock flex. I've been having issues with the iPhone X rebooting on non-original dock flexes. And the ones that I've seen are also rebooting without dock flex. It's so strange. Something that somebody that's doing screens and batteries and stuff's probably ran into already. So, okay, all I'm doing here is I'm putting this board into a different housing that I know has a charged battery. 4.24 volts says my meter. And we're going to connect this steaming pile of hog manure back to iTunes. Okay, should get an Apple logo. There we go. I'll switch this over so that you can see iTunes and you can see the phone. Actually, let's switch it over so you can see me so that I don't reveal kid pictures. You know, some people would rather not have their children or pictures on the internet. So, do you think I remember the passcode? Because I seem to have misplaced the sticky note. I remembered the passcode. It's a miracle. All right, we're going to say trust the computer. I'm going to say iTunes continue. Okay, so here we are on iTunes. And let's see if we can get this thing to run a backup without rebooting. I'm definitely not going to update. So it locked up before it finished doing whatever tally or whatever operation it does before lighting up the backup button. And I think that was a long pause before a reboot. And I guess our broken cathode here is not too bad because it's still lighting up both sides of the screen. Are you going to reboot again? Or, okay. Now if this phone still reboots, I've got some serious work to do. Okay, it's not locked up yet. Still not locked up. Yeah, it locked up for a long period of time and then it would restart. Still not locked up. Come on, baby. You know you want to give me that data. He's only after pictures. I might switch over to 3U and try to do a customized backup. I don't need it to tally up all this. Let's go after pictures only. Okay, so we're going to load up 3U tools. Of course we don't want to update. Are you nuts? All right. Yeah, C drive's full, whatever. Okay, we're going to do a customized backup. We're going to grab only pictures. You think we can get them all? I might have to blur out a small section of the... What, it's not showing? You can't see the dialogue. Here's what I'm looking at, guys. I did a custom backup, and it's backing up only the pictures that are on the phone. Oh, such challenges. I'm going to do the pictures first, and then I'm going to go ahead and run a full iTunes backup, just in case he needs anything else. Come on, baby. We're at 1,000 of 2,400. I've just about got all the pictures off of it. 1,700 now of 1,800. We're at 1,900. 2,000 big ones. We've copied 2,000 items from the camera roll. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab a screenshot of this so you can see it really clear. Okay. So, there we go. It just finished backing up all of the pictures that were on the phone, and in order to show that to you, I had to use the snipping tool and draw a box around it. Like, what the... Are you serious? Alright, so we've got a full backup that way. The last thing that I'm going to do here, I'm going to go ahead, we're going to get rid of 3U tools. I thought 3U tools was going to make me look smart, but instead it's going to cost me a bunch of time editing to cover up this guy's home screen. I'm now going to go ahead. I'm confident that this recovery is successful. I've got all of his pictures off of here. That was his main concern. The last thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and run a full backup with iTunes, and now it will let me do it. Alright, so this thing is going to run a full backup with iTunes now, and then I know that I've got not only just the photos and things from the camera roll, but I have everything from the entire phone backed up. So guys, this is going to be the end of a somewhat of a lengthy data recovery. There wasn't anything too technical about this one, because really all I had to do was look and see what was broken, use a little bit of prior knowledge of troubleshooting long screw damage, and combine that with what I'm seeing here. Here's what I think the scoop is on this phone. I think it may have gotten damaged during a liquid damage cleanup, because being that all the image chokes were pried on and stuff pertaining to image was scraped away and chunked off of the board, I sort of feel like that somebody thought this was liquid damage, but in turn, I'm not sure what order it happened in, but the reason this phone wasn't getting image was because of bottom left hole long screw damage. The no image situation was not caused by liquid. Now, since I didn't power it on prior to beginning any sort of recovery, it may have very well been a no power phone. That could have been what had them really digging around, but since we had image chokes that were pried off the board, this was more than likely bottom left hole long screw damage that sparked all this. So guys, I'm going to call an end to this video, and I'm not sure how much I'm going to edit because I don't have a whole lot of time. I really got to keep life moving, and as soon as this backup's done, I'll call an end to the recovery. So anyways, that's it for now. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon. Have a good day.